The illusion of light, why the brightest path may be the most dangerous. Let me take you deep into a truth most spiritual seekers will never hear in their lifetime. We live in a world obsessed with light. Light is worshipped. Light is equated with goodness, salvation, and truth. But what if I told you that some forms of light are traps? What if I told you that the most dangerous prisons for a dark chosen one are not forged in darkness, but in blinding light?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
You see, when you are a dark chosen one, your soul was not born to follow the conventional spiritual path. You were not meant to be a being of conformity, passivity, or hollow peace. You are chaos aligned with purpose. You are the night that teaches others to see. But even you, especially, you can be seduced by false light. And that's the first trap. The first deadly light energy trap is spiritual bypassing through love and light. It's everywhere. Quotes on social media. Influencers bathing in sunlight saying, "Love is the only truth." Don't get me wrong, love is powerful. But when love is used to suppress rage, grief, shadow, and ancestral pain, it becomes a poison. A light that blinds rather than illuminates. Have you ever felt like you had to stay positive even when your soul was screaming in agony? That's the bypass. It's a light that silences the dark wisdom you carry. You were never meant to suppress your shadow. You were born to integrate it, to use it, to wield it in service of your mission. The second trap is enlightenment as ego superiority. This one is sneaky. You begin to awaken. You start seeing through the illusions. You begin meditating, fasting, reading ancient texts. And somewhere along the path, you start to believe you are more awake than others. You say things like, "They're still asleep," or "they're NPCs." You start to separate yourself from those who are lost. But here's the paradox. The moment you believe you are above others because of your spiritual awareness, you fall into illusion. The real chosen ones don't elevate themselves. They descend deeper into service. They become humble warriors of truth, not spiritual royalty. Ask yourself right now, is my awakening making me more compassionate or more arrogant? The third deadly light trap is false peace through isolation. Many spiritual people begin to feel overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, so they retreat. They cut off friends. They leave cities. They start to believe that peace lies in escaping the noise. And sure, temporary isolation can be powerful. But permanent detachment is not evolution, it's fear. A dark chosen one is not here to escape the world. You are here to transform it. If you only feel spiritual when you're alone in nature, but not when you're in a room full of the broken, the angry, the lost, then your peace is fragile. That's not power. That's avoidance. You were not chosen to hide. You were chosen to be a storm that awakens the slumbering. And the fourth trap, perhaps the deadliest of all, is becoming addicted to ascension. I've seen this over and over again. You start chasing higher vibrations, more dimensions, more downloads, more activations. It becomes a game, a spiritual addiction. You begin to believe that you must constantly ascend, constantly rise, constantly seek more light. But this addiction to ascension disconnects you from Earth, from your body, from your ancestors, from your mission. The obsession with escaping the human form is an insult to the very reason you incarnated. You weren't sent here to escape Earth, you were sent here to anchor the divine into Earth, to descend, not ascend, to alchemize, not levitate. Let me ask you something deeply uncomfortable. What part of your spiritual practice is actually an escape from your wounds, from your responsibilities? We must be honest with ourselves. The path of the dark chosen one is not about floating above pain, it's about walking through fire with your eyes wide open. You are not here to become a being of light. You are already a being of power, and power is forged in initiation, not avoidance. We must remember that not every light is sacred. Some lights are prisons. Some lights are illusions. Some lights are traps set by energies that want to drain you of your fire and turn you into something passive, docile, and harmless. But you were not born to be harmless. You were born to be holy chaos, sacred disruption. You were born to carry the seed of revolution in your energy and embody the truth that the divine wears both light and shadow. So what do? How do we defend ourselves from these deadly traps? First, we must embrace radical self-honesty. We must look at every part of our spiritual journey and ask, is this making me more real or just more numb? If your practices are numbing you, they are not spiritual. They are sedation. Second, we must reclaim the wisdom of the shadow, the anger, the grief, the rage, the chaos, not to indulge it, but to listen to it, to sit with it, to learn its medicine. Every dark chosen one carries ancestral rage for a reason. That rage is not a flaw. It is a compass. It points toward what has been broken and must be rebuilt. Third, we must remain in the world, not escape it. You were not chosen to live in a monastery. You were chosen to be in the middle of cities, in the middle of conflict, in the middle of chaos. That's where your light becomes real. That's where your power matters most. And fourth, we must stop chasing enlightenment like it's a finish line. Enlightenment is a spiral. It is a cycle. It is death and rebirth, again and again. Don't seek the top of the mountain. Become the mountain. Become the storm that breaks the illusion of separation between divine and human, between spirit and flesh. I want you to remember something. This is not just a video. This is a mirror. Look into it. What part of you has been seduced by the light? What part of you has dimmed your fire to be more spiritual? And are you willing, truly willing, to reclaim the part of you that the light tried to kill? The hidden architects, how light forces manipulate your destiny with invisible contracts. Let's go deeper now. If you've made it here, it means something inside you remembers. Not from this life, but from before. From the silence between lifetimes. From the void. From the place where you made agreements, contracts, promises your conscious mind has long forgotten, but your soul hasn't. Because here's the truth, not all light is benevolent. Some light is controlling. Some light wears the mask of love, but it binds your spirit in chains of obedience. And that brings us to the fifth deadly light energy trap that every dark chosen one must avoid: unconscious soul contracts with false light beings. Many spiritual seekers make contact with light beings during meditation, dreams, or energy work. These entities appear radiant, peaceful, celestial. They speak in tones of serenity, promising guidance, protection, even ascension. But here's the question we must ask: do these beings truly empower you, or do they subtly enslave you? You must understand many of these beings are part of what I call the spiritual bureaucracy. They are not evil in the traditional sense, but they serve a cosmic system that thrives on order, harmony, and obedience. And you, the dark chosen one, were born to disrupt that system. So when you begin to awaken, they don't attack you. They befriend you. They offer you guidance. They give you missions. They flatter your ego. And then they subtly redirect your path away from your true power. Have you ever felt like your spiritual path suddenly became mechanical? Like you were doing all the right things, but something felt off? Dry? Controlled? That's often a sign you've entered into a soul contract without realizing it. A contract that says, I will serve the light, even if it means silencing my fire. And that contract must be broken. Now, you may wonder, how do I even know if I've made such a contract? Ask yourself, have I ever given my power away to a being, a voice, or a system that told me what my purpose is? True guidance never demands obedience. It invites sovereignty. If a being ever makes you feel like you're chosen only as long as you obey, it's not divine. It's parasitic. The sixth trap is even harder to detect: karmic loops disguised as sacred service. This one hits the deepest. Many dark chosen ones come into this life with massive karmic weight. You've been warriors, rebels, witches, prophets, destroyers in other lifetimes. And often when you awaken in this one, you feel the urge to serve, to give, to help heal the world. And that's beautiful until it becomes a prison. Because sometimes the urge to serve is not coming from your present truth, it's coming from guilt, from karmic debt, from ancient vows you made when you were being burned, hunted, or betrayed, or vows like, I will never harm again, I will only love, I will never use my power. And so, even in this life, you self-sabotage, you hold back, you mute your voice, you let others lead. You play small because you fear what might happen if you fully step into your power. You've mistaken your trauma for your truth. Let me say this clearly, you do not owe this world your silence. You do not owe the universe your obedience. Your mission is not to atone, it is to evolve. So how do you break the karmic loop? You stop identifying with your past lives. You honor them, but you don't let them define you. You say, I am the convergence of all my lifetimes and I choose now. You reclaim your right to power without guilt. You stop playing the martyr and start becoming the architect. And that leads us to the seventh and final deadly light trap, the worship of external divinity. This is the oldest trap of all. It began when humans looked at the stars and thought God was out there. It continued when religions told us that salvation comes from bowing, kneeling, surrendering. And it lives today when spiritual people give their power away to higher selves, ascended masters, or source consciousness. But you were never meant to worship. You were meant to embody. You are not a servant of the divine. You are not a student of the divine. You are the divine, remembering itself in human form. The moment you start to speak to Source as if it's separate from you, you reinforce the illusion that you are small. The moment you believe your higher self has more truth than your embodied self, you fracture your power. The divine is not above you, it is within you. And until you stop worshiping and start integrating, you will remain trapped in the illusion of separation. Let me ask you the deepest question of this entire journey. What if the God you've been praying to is waiting for you to awaken? What if you are the answer to your own prayers? We have been programmed to seek the light above us. But the truth is that the light is us. And when we truly wake up to that, all contracts dissolve, all loops break, all illusions shatter. Now, what do we do with this knowledge? First, we must revoke any soul contract made without full conscious consent. Speak it aloud. Feel it in your bones. Say, I now revoke all agreements made with any being, system, or energy that does not honor my full sovereignty. I reclaim my power. I reclaim my mission. I reclaim my divine authority. So it is. Second, we must stop seeking guidance from outside ourselves. Yes, signs and synchronicities are real, but the deepest truth comes from within, from your body, from your chaos, from your silence. The voice of your divine self does not speak in riddles, it speaks in knowing. And you already know. Third, we must stop trying to be good. That word is a trap. Good by whose standards? The light. Society? God? You were not sent here to be good. You were sent here to be true. And truth is messy. Truth burns. Truth breaks illusions. Truth is sacred rebellion. And finally, we must remember who we were before the light lied to us. Before we were told to bow. Before we were taught to be obedient, pure, or ascended. We must remember the fire, the storm, the serpent, the void. We must remember the parts of us that refused to kneel, even when it cost us everything. Because that memory, that ancient, defiant, divine knowing, is the key to your liberation. You are not here to be saved. You are here to awaken, to lead, to break the system from within, to awaken the other dark chosen ones still caught in the light. And that is why you must never forget, the most dangerous trap is not the darkness, it's the light that keeps you from remembering your own divinity. The light that blinds you to your own fire. but not anymore. Burn the false light, the final initiation of the dark chosen one. There comes a moment on the path of the dark chosen one when all that has been learned, followed, worshipped, and even trusted must be laid down at the altar of truth, not for ceremonial closure, but for annihilation. This is that moment. This is where the final illusion dies. We've walked through the traps of false light, broken soul contracts, disarmed spiritual manipulation, and faced the weaponized kindness of the so-called divine. But none of that compares to what must be faced now. Because the final trap is not outside. It is not a being. It is not an energy. It is not even a system. The final trap is you, your idea of you, the spiritual identity you've worn like armor. The titles seer, chosen lightworker, shadow walker, starseed, warrior, healer, even dark chosen one. Every name, every narrative, every label you've used to define yourself on this sacred path must burn. Because as long as you are something, you are still trapped. You are still holding on to form. And the final initiation is into formlessness. The formless self. The pre-self. The wild, unbound, eternal flame that existed before identity, before incarnation, before even intention. This is the moment when you stop evolving and start remembering. You remember that you are not ascending, you are unfolding. You are not gathering, you are shedding. You are not becoming divine, you are ceasing to pretend you weren't. But to do this, to truly burn the false light, you must willingly walk into the void. Not the metaphorical void, the real void. The place where nothing reflects back to you, where no voice confirms your path, where no guide explains your destiny, where no sign arrives to comfort you. It's just you and silence and the raw, terrifying, magnificent presence of your own unfiltered existence. And in this place you must ask, am I willing to lose everything I thought I was in order to become who I truly am? That's the only question that matters now. And it must be answered not with words but with surrender. Because the truth is, the obsession with awakening is just another false light. It keeps you chasing an ideal, a higher vibration, the next level. But what if there is no higher, no next? What if this raw, imperfect moment is the whole of God? What if you've already arrived, but your spiritual programming is stopping you from realizing it? The ceremonies, the mantras, the crystals, the downloads, they were never the point. They were stepping stones, not destinations. And now you are being asked to throw the entire map into the fire, to unlearn everything, to stop searching for truth the way a starving man chases food, to realize that truth is not a thing to find. Truth is what remains when illusion dies. And illusion does not die easily, it dies screaming, clinging, pleading. It dies in the fire of radical self-nullification, where you stop needing to be powerful, enlightened, or even special. This is not spiritual suicide, it's spiritual rebirth. But not the kind your ego wants. Not the rebirth where you emerge more radiant, more magical, more in control. No, this is the rebirth into nothing. into the silent, infinite, eternal now, into the place where you are no longer the chosen, but the chooser, no longer the seeker, but the source, no longer the initiate, but the flame itself. And when you reach this inner combustion, when the false light has been burned so thoroughly that no identity survives, something strange happens. You begin to laugh, not because anything is funny, but because you finally see it. The cosmic joke, the beautiful, tragic, hilarious absurdity of seeking what you already are. And in that laughter, there is liberation. Because you no longer need to prove, to perform, to earn, or to rise. You simply are, not a being of light, not a child of God, not an awakened soul, just isness, pure presence, wild, untamed, sovereign being. And from this place, everything changes. You don't lead others anymore, you simply live, and your existence becomes a living transmission. You don't teach anymore, you embody, and your presence becomes a mirror. You don't serve anymore, you express, and your expression becomes medicine. No more missions, no more vows, no more trying to save the world. You realize the world was never broken, it was just dreaming. And now you are awake, truly awake, not floating above life, but rooted within it. Not escaping the illusion, but dancing inside it with eyes wide open. Not waging war against darkness or chasing light, but walking as wholeness in a divided world. And when others see you, something ancient stirs in them. Not because you're preaching truth, but because you're being it. And that's what this world needs now. Not more light, not more ascension, not more doctrine. It needs real ones, embodied ones, unshakable ones, those who have burned every lie, including the lie of enlightenment. Those who walk with bare feet and open hearts through a collapsing matrix, not as saviors but as reminders. So I'll ask you one final time. Are you ready to burn the last illusion? Are you ready to let go of even your awakening? Because if you are, then nothing can control you again. No light, no system, no fear. Not even God. Because you have remembered you are the fire. You are the storm. You are the void. You are the truth that no being can give you and no being can take away. And now, you walk forward not toward a destination, but as a living flame that burns through illusion wherever it goes. This is the final initiation, not a ceremony, not a ritual, but a choice. A silent, sovereign, irreversible choice to be nothing, and therefore to be everything. Welcome to the real beginning, the place no map can guide you to, the place no spiritual system can define, the place no light can trap, the place only you can enter. And now that you are here, burn, be, and let the false light fall forever.